few days go by and we get a letter to say that the next order of events are the chemo date, but I also need to have a PICC line fitted. But before that, I need to have a talk with the chemotherapy nurse who's going to talk us through everything that's going to happen. Do's, don'ts, what chemotherapy feels like, the PICC line that I've got to have fitted. Some pretty scary stuff was talked about. Something that I never knew, and I don't know if other people know this, that when you have chemotherapy, you can't breathe in cold air or drink anything cold for the first 24 hours, because if you do that, it shrinks your throat, and there's a very good chance of you choking because your throat all shrinks and closes up. And in that regard, you have to warm it up and have something really warm to drink to release it immediately. Apparently hot water does that really, really quick, but it's quite scary, I would imagine, to go through that. Luckily I didn't. I never had those problems. So the date of the nurse's talk comes first, and she calls, and this call lasts about an hour, and she goes through absolutely everything. This is where dickhead Rob talks without thinking it actually through. So the nurse is going through some post-chemo do's and don'ts, things that you can't do going forward. One of the things she mentioned, a little bit risque, everybody, you know, going into 18 territory now, but you can't have, I'm going to use the word she used, you can't have relations. Very, very polite word. You can't have relations, sex. But you can't have that. Well, you can, but you have to make sure you're protected. So she's going through a sex education lesson with us on the phone. So me and Belinda are on this phone. So she says, if you do engage in that sort of thing, make sure you're protected. Without a rational thought in my head, I said, well, do I need protection for my fingers then? She started to cough, and then the phone went down. I thought, oh my God, I just got myself into trouble. She called back a few seconds later. She says, I'm so sorry. I don't think I've ever had that question before, and I was choking on my cup of tea laughing, and I couldn't compose myself in time. So I'm so sorry. The only thing to do was put the phone down on you. So that's a thing that I do. I tend to say things without thinking. So yeah, that was a new one for her. So we got away from that, and we were talking about the PICC line and what that involves, which I'll go through into the next video, and then the actual day of the chemotherapy, going to the ward, what it would entail, which I'll go into in another video when I actually have the chemotherapy, and again the do's and don'ts with it, signs to look out for, and if it's not working, if you start to get adverse effects, what to look out for and stuff, possible symptoms I may get from it. So we went through all of that. I did ask her if I would lose my hair. She said not necessarily. The type of chemotherapy that you're going on doesn't really affect hair loss, but it will thin. You'll start to notice your hair's thinning a lot, and it will probably go grey, silver in my case. So we did that. A lovely lady, I said it was about an hour, and a phone call came through a close, and that was it. So next port of call is to go and get the PICC line fitted, which, yeah, I can't say it's the fear of the unknown. There's the problem. It's the fear of the unknown. I know what it is. I know what they're going to do, but because I've never had it before, it's okay. Well, I've been told it's not going to hurt, but you're just saying that to keep me calm. But anyway, it was the fear of the unknown. But the night before having the PICC line fitted, we went out to a restaurant called Pesto. Myself, Belinda, Josh, my friends, Andrew, Faye and Lorraine were there. Faye, beautiful, bought me a ginger wig, the biggest ginger wig, which yeah, it stood out a lot, which I'm sure I've got a photo of it. So if I have, I'll put an attachment on this video to that one. Last time the videos didn't attach to the video, the photos didn't attach to the video, and I had to attach it to Instagram instead. But yeah, we went out for dinner, and I wore this wig throughout dinner, and we were laughing and we were joking, and it was taking away the fact that the very next day I was going to have this PICC line fitted. Faye works in the hospital, and so she echoed what everybody had already said, that yeah, from the people that she's spoken to, it shouldn't hurt. But she wanted to focus more on the fact that she knew people came off of chemotherapy and their hair did turn ginger, hence the ginger wig. So there was a chance I was going to look like Jason at some point with my ginger head, possibly afro. I don't know, both would be cool. Just not the accent, which I can't do, which we found out earlier on. And it was nice. It was a lovely dinner. Again, we laughed. It just took away all the anxiety that I was feeling, ready for the next day. I like to tell people I don't feel anxiety, that, you know, what will be, just get on with it. But I do. I think everybody does. Definitely the fear of what tomorrow was going to bring. But I have this little game called Time Jump. If anybody's ever heard of Time Jump, I'm sure lots of people do it themselves, but Time Jump theory basically works is you think of now, so you think of what's happening right now, and you don't think about it again until whatever you're having done is done. And once that procedure's done, you go back in your mind to the time that you thought time jump. Now all of a sudden, time's skipped all that time. So in my case, it would be think of the restaurant with my friends, go to sleep, get up, go to the hospital, get the PICC line done. As soon as the PICC line had been done and fitted and I'm back in the car, I would remember the night with my friends, and all of a sudden a day's just skipped. And it makes it a little bit easier that way. It's like you broke the barriers of time. It works, it really does work. It takes that pressure away when you do a time jump. So time jump again, think of something that you're doing right now, and whatever you don't want to happen, get that done, and then think back after that is done to the time that you were thinking of when you were happy, and it just flies by, absolutely flies by. There's a story of this where I was at school, high school, and I was having a particular bad day, and I said out loud to a friend of mine, I said, "Oh God, I wish this day was over. I can't stand this day." And my teacher, Mr. Green, had overheard, and he said, "Look, Rob, I'm going to tell you a story now. You should never ever wish your life away, because you're going to remember in a week, in a month, in a year, in 10 years or 20 years, this speech I'm giving you right now. And all of a sudden, a week, a month, a year, 20 years have passed. And you're going to think, oh my God, how much time has passed since I remember Mr. Green saying that." And it's true. I always remember, every time I think about Mr. Green telling me that, I've just gone back to high school in my head. It's a crazy thing, but it's a good technique to use. So the next video, I'm going to go into the PICC line.